Mara arrived at her older sister Lila's house on a crisp October afternoon, her suitcase rolling behind her and her heart dragging even heavier. Only a month had passed since she'd walked away from a long, exhausting relationship back in Portland. The break had left a hollow ache inside her, the kind that lingered even when she tried to ignore it. She hoped the quiet little town in Nova Scotia would help her breathe again. But the moment she stepped into Lila's warm, lamplit home, she realized healing would take far more than a change of scenery. Lila greeted her with a long, grounding hug, the kind given to someone who might crumble if touched too roughly. She led Mara to the guest room with gentle words and softer glances. Mara appreciated the care, but part of her felt exposed. She had always been the steady one, the sister who had everything under control. Now she could barely hold a steady breath. As evening settled over the house, everything grew quiet. Lila cooked dinner downstairs, humming faintly, while Mara unpacked in the guest room with slow, hesitant hands. Every shirt she unfolded, every sweater she placed on the shelf tugged forward memories she'd been trying desperately to bury, old arguments, empty promises, 1,000 small heartbreaks disguised as hope. Grief was sneaky like that, slipping out of hidden corners when she least expected it. She sat at the edge of the bed and covered her eyes, not crying, just worn out. The silence of the room made the loneliness feel bigger, sharper, almost louder than the wind outside the window. A soft knock broke through her thoughts. "Aunt Mara? Can I come in?" It was her nephew, Eli, at 19. He had a kind of effortless gentleness in his eyes, an easy warmth that made people relax around him without even knowing why. When she nodded, he stepped inside with a small, uncertain smile. "You look tired," he said softly. "I can sit with you if you want. You don't have to talk." The simplicity of his offer surprised her. Most people tried to fix pain even when they didn't understand it. But Eli didn't push. He didn't pry. He just made space for her. "Maybe just sit." Mara whispered. Eli settled beside her, not speaking, not forcing anything, just existing beside her in a way that made her chest loosen a little. His presence was steady, safe. And for the first time since the breakup, her mind quieted. "Mom told me you've had a rough time," he said gently after a moment. "I'm glad you're here. You shouldn't go through everything alone." Mara felt the words soften something deep inside her. He wasn't trying to carry her pain, just acknowledge it. That alone made her throat tighten. The room grew dim as the sky outside darkened. Wind brushed the maple trees, and the soft glow of the bedside lamp wrapped them in a stillness that soothed her in ways she hadn't expected. "Healing doesn't happen all at once," Eli said quietly. "Just being here, that's enough for now." She looked at him, touched. "Thank you. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that." "Anytime," he said with a warm smile. "I'm around if you need company." When he left the room, closing the door gently behind him, Mara exhaled a long, fragile breath. She lay back on the bed and stared up at the ceiling. That small moment, quiet, tender, unexpected, felt like the very first step toward something new. Something she didn't know she needed. The next few days drifted by softly. Mara woke each morning to the hum of the coffee machine, the soft tap of Lila moving around the kitchen, and the comforting knowledge that no one expected her to pretend she was okay. It was relief in its simplest form. Eli appeared at just the right moments. Sometimes he brought her tea. Sometimes he invited her on a short walk with his dog. He never probed, never asked more than she wanted to share. His quiet, consistent presence became a thread that stitched loose pieces of her back together. One cool afternoon, he suggested walking along the riverside path. They strolled beneath flaming orange leaves while Eli talked about his classes, his part-time job at a music shop, and a mural project he hoped to join. Mara listened with genuine ease. His stories, simple and ordinary, gave her mind a break from replaying her own. Mom's friend Adrian is coming for dinner tonight, Eli said, tossing a stick for the dog. You haven't met him yet, right? Mara shook her head. He's a good guy. You'll like him. She brushed off the idea. She wasn't looking for anything or anyone. Dinner was dinner, nothing more. But when the door opened that evening and Adrian stepped inside, she felt something warm flicker in her chest. Not overwhelming. Not romantic. Just warm. He was tall, with a calm expression that softened the room. He greeted Lila first, then turned to Mara with a soft, respectful smile. You must be Mara. I've heard good things. Glad to finally meet you. His voice was gentle, steady in a way that made her breathe, just a little deeper. Dinner was simple and filled with easy conversation. Adrian's words were thoughtful, never rushed, never loud. When he spoke, he seemed genuinely interested in the moment, not in impressing anyone. Mara found herself listening closely without meaning to. How are you liking the town so far? He asked. It's peaceful. I think I needed that. He nodded. Sometimes a quiet place lets us hear ourselves again. The words stayed with her long after he left, with a warm smile and an offer to help if she ever needed anything. Later, wrapped in a blanket on the porch, she let her thoughts drift to the way Adrian spoke, calm, steady, honest. She wasn't looking for anything new, but something about him felt gently familiar, like a book she'd forgotten she once loved. Eli joined her outside, sipping hot chocolate. He nudged her playfully. You smiled more today, he teased. It looks good on you. She laughed softly. You noticed? I always notice. She didn't deny it today, had felt different. Lighter. Healing, she realized, didn't always come as a sudden revelation. Sometimes it arrived quietly through warm dinners, soft conversations, and people who cared without asking for anything in return. The next morning, Mara's thoughts were tangled with uncertainty and a strange hope she didn't know what to do with. But life didn't wait for her to sort it out, because when she stepped outside, Adrian was standing at the walkway, gathering courage to knock. Morning, he said with a shy smile. I wasn't sure if I should come by, but I figured letting things go unsaid wasn't fair. Her pulse quickened. Walk with me? He asked. They moved beneath the maple trees, their steps slow, the air cool around them. For a long while, neither spoke. Finally, Adrian stopped. I know you've had a hell of a year, he said quietly. I'm not here to rush you or complicate your life. I just want to be honest. She met his eyes, bracing herself. I enjoy being around you, he said. Not because I expect anything, just because you feel easy to talk to. Real. And if someday you're ready to let someone in again. He exhaled. I'd be grateful if that could be me. Her breath hitched. Adrian. I don't know what I'm ready for. Some days I feel steady, and some days I feel lost all over again. I know, he said. That's why I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know I'm here. You're not alone in all this. His understanding reached the softest corners of her heart, the ones she'd been afraid to touch. When they returned to the house, he stepped back and said, Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. For the first time in a long while, the genuine smile touched her lips. Thank you, she whispered. After he left, Eli stepped onto the porch. Reading her expression instantly, he talked to you, didn't he? She sat beside him, voice low. He did, and I feel lighter. Like I can breathe again. Eli nodded with quiet pride. Good. You've been carrying too much. Mara let the cool air fill her lungs. I'm scared, she admitted. That doesn't mean you can't be happy too, Eli said. Both can exist. His simple truth struck deep. Later that afternoon, she walked alone through the neighborhood, the wind carrying the scent of fallen leaves. For the first time in months, her heart didn't feel trapped. It felt awake. She wasn't in love. She wasn't ready for promises. but she was ready for possibility, for warmth, patience, connection, for a life that wasn't defined by the pain she left behind. As she approached the house again, she paused, watching the quiet street with a small, hopeful smile. She was ready to move forward, even if slowly, and that small step, soft, steady, and honest, was the beginning of her new chapter.